Hi, Guido Fox here. Welcome by a new book report. Today I want to discuss with you this book, Not Giving a Fuck. The Art of Not Giving a Fuck. From Mark Manson, 200 pages of information about how you should live, how you mentally should live to perform better, to become more successful in your relationships, in your work, in your business, in your mind shifts, in your personal development, in your happiness, in your enlightenment stages of mental champions league to perform better, and you're better in your body, you're better in your vibe, you're better in your energy, and you want to grab this life as much as you can. You enjoy this life as much as you can. You really grab this life 100%, 1000%, and you go for it. And then is on page 9 the hard and harsh truth. Honest to yourself, honest to your mental state, honest to your bad thoughts, honest to your current work situation. Are you happy or not? Honest to your relationship states. Are you single or in a relationship? Is a toxic relationship a good relationship? Is it a wonderful job? You really like your work or not? Are you an alcoholic or a drugs addicted person? Whatever there is in your life, be honest to yourself or let a coach tell you the honest story. Because if you're not honest to your current situation, I know guys who are struggling already 10 to 12 years from now to the current situation in what to do in life. They don't find a fitting job. They don't work on career coaching. They still in bad, non-fitting jobs, and they decline to hire a career coach. I know guys who are still struggling and getting dates and wants to have more high value girlfriends, are not happy with their current girlfriends, and they reject a wonderful dating coach like me. So that's very strange, right? They know it, they deny their situation, or they step in the victim role. Page 38. People are stepping in the victim role. It's all about the outside world. It's never about me. I am always right, and the outside world is bad for me. It's all about my history, my bad youth. It's always about the bad companies where I worked for. It's always about my bad uncle. All the uncles' fault where I am now. In your shitty relationship, your shitty finance situation, your shitty wife home, your shitty boyfriend home, whatever, your shitty job. It's all because of you. You're responsible for your life. That's the first step. You're responsible for the situation where you're in. So, honest about yourself and honest about your current situation. If you don't know what your weakest points are, if you not know how ugly you are, and I see so many ugly people are behaving very arrogant, if you don't have a really mental mirror in your life, hire a coach. A coach can tell you what your current situation is. And if you know your current situation, if you know the honest current situation, there comes an honest confrontation. So you have honest to yourself, honest to your situation, honest to the confrontation with yourself. And that's pity, that's hard if someone is telling the truth about you. But it's sometimes needed to correct your ego and put your ego down. And from that moment, you can grow without putting yourself under a knife of a coach. You are stuck and you cannot grow. You only can grow in life when you know your current situation. When you're honest to yourself, from there you can grow in your relationships. From there you can grow in your mental state. From there you can grow in your business, in your work situation. If you don't know what the situation is, you're far and far from God. You're far and far from spirituality. You're far and far from really grow attitude. And on page 15, he had a very nice quote. And as the desire to get positive experience is really in the start a negative experience. The acceptation of the situation is a negative experience, but is actually a positive experience because from there you can move on. So if you constantly have a desire to have a positive experience in your life, you want to have a more positiveness in your life, it's actually a negative experience because you're clinging to the future too much. And if you're constantly hoping on a better future, the ultimate Christian hope, right? You want to hope in the future where everything okay, the future where everything better. Wow, amazing, I want to have that hope in the future, but you lost the moment here. You lost the current situation here. You lost the now here. You have to accept the current situation. And that is a negative experience. I know, but actually it's a positive experience because you know where you are, who you are, what your positive side is, what your negative side is, what your current situation is. So if you know your current situation, it's a positive experience in the deepest sense. Because from there you can go further. From there you can move on with your life. Happiness is very interesting. What is happiness? But happiness exists if you are good in problem solving. And the last video, the previous video, I talked about that you have stay asking questions all the time. Stay asking questions to people in your surroundings. Don't be afraid, but if you ask questions, you will become happier. And here's the same. If you want to become more happy in your life, you have to manage how to dissolve your problems, because problems will come in your life, and life without problems is no life. So if you want to have a better life, you have to work on problem solving mechanisms. And then you have to ask questions to your neighbor, to your friends, to your coaches, to your family, whatever, to solve your problems or really think by yourself. So if you have a problem in your life, find a solution. I don't know what to do in my life, in my career. Okay, hire a coach. Oh my god, my relationship is so bad. I want to perform better in my relationship. I search a mirror, find a coach. So if you want to grow, find a coach. That's the most important lesson here. Problem solving behavior. If you want to have a bigger house in a very, very wonderful neighborhood, and you want to have a good house and not a bad house with a bad construction, hire a very good trade guy who knows about housing. Problem solved. So outsourcing your stuff is a very other important lesson. So if you want to become happier, stay in the problem solving attitude and take action, right? So last week I had a hole in my pants. So what I do, I go to a guy who repair it, right? So I bring it the next day and I take it last week. They did a week about it, so problem solved. Makes me happier because I can do my phone in my pocket. Small example, but big results. Because it was annoying because my mobile phone was constantly going going out of my pocket. So learn to solve problems very, very quickly in your life. Solve problems quickly. Outsourcing will lead to more happiness. So page 38, you can deny all your problems, or you can, and or I have to say, you can come in the victim role mentality, right? What I told about you, everything is the outside world. The outside world is bad for you, and it is never, never, never your own responsibility. Page 63 of this book, from Don't Give a Fuck About Your Life, very commercial title of this book. But yeah, page 33, most people are mediocre in what they do. Correct, correct, correct. Mark mentioned correct. The most people are very mediocre. They are mediocre in the verbal skills, they're mediocre in their fitness skills, they're mediocre in the body weight skills, they're mediocre in their work, they're mediocre in their relationships, they have a mediocre wife on the couch, they're mediocre in their thinking patterns, they're mediocre in their mental health, they're mediocre in their living standards, they have not so much freedom, they have a mediocre car, they go on mediocre holidays. So also in your personal development skills, they are mediocre, right? So the most people are mediocre. Therefore, there are so many coaches, and a lot of TV programs make coaches ridiculous. Okay, why there are so many coaches? Because we lift them up. Why there are so many people depressive? 1 million in the Netherlands. Why there are so many people burnouts? Because the system, the matrix, deliver not the right solutions. So coaches are correcting the matrix. Correcting the matrix. So if people become better because of coaches, why not to do it, right? So people are mediocre on all those kind of levels. That's the mainly situation. Some people are good in one thing. So they fully focused on, yeah, let's do example bodybuilding, right? So you have Arnold Schwarzenegger. He was hitting the gym 4 or 5 hours per day. He becomes very good in bodybuilding, and he did some actor lessons and he played a movie. That's not so difficult if you see his roles and what he had to say. So I put it under the bodybuilding effort. So well done. He was Mr. Olympia. He was eating 4 or 5,000 calories per day, sometimes 8 to 10,000, and he trained 4 or 5 hours in the gym and do it 7 times, 6 times per day, and you get that kind of body, right? With the right supplements and the right personal coaches there. So you can say, okay, people are good in one thing. Wow, great. The matrix is saying, now this guy is so unbelievable good, right? He did one thing in his life, he did good. That's bodybuilding. But we are here to grow outside the matrix, and what I want to see from people who wants to go outside the matrix is that you are good in a lot of different levels in your life. So that's what this guy also saying, this Mark mentioned. The most people are mediocre in everything. There are some exceptions that people are good in one thing, especially making money. So a lot of people are good in making money, that's one thing, and the rest stay mediocre. So if you make a lot of money, probably you're a fat person. I mean, if you look at Bill Gates, if you look at Jess Boss, if you look at Donald Trump, right? Okay, there's a very interesting discussion of what Andrew Tate was saying. Okay, is Bill Gates or Jeff Boss, are they high value people? Following the matrix, yes, they have a lot of money, so you're high value. You have connections, you have network at that stage of life, so you're high value. But if you want to grow outside the matrix, you want to grow into personal development, into enlightenment, into your relationship skills, into your verbal skills, in your presentation skills, in your leadership skills, in your career skills, in your dating skills, in all those kind of things. You become better and better and better and better and better. And therefore, it is so difficult to grow outside the matrix frequencies, because you can be good in one thing. You can be an excellent car dealer. You make money with selling Porsches and Ferraris to people. You can let go your company and you do it 20 years and you're a rich person and you're good in car selling. But are you good in your mental health? Are you good in your physical health? Are you good in your relationship? You found your dream women. Are you good in social dynamics? Are you good in business vision? Are you good in your leadership skills? Can you hire people, grow people under in your company? So leadership skills. Are you good in that? So if it's very difficult to grow outside the matrix frequencies, to operate on a high level on every facet of your life. So think about that. Become a multiplier, generalistic person. Because if you become better in your relationship skills, you bring that relationship skills to your network skills, right? It's interfering into each other. If you have a good posture, you have more confidence in giving presentations. People will look up to you because you have a great body, you have great skills. Women look up to you, so you perform better in your dating life. So if you raise up your personal development levels, that is a multiplier effect, and you grow outside the matrix, because the matrix is saying do one thing. That's enough. Do one thing good, become a good doctor, and that's all what you can, and the rest is mediocre, and the rest is bullshit. So there's a very, very interesting comment from Mark Manson, that you want to become excellent in every aspect of life, even cleaning your house. You have to be excellent in cleaning your meditation skills, right? So try to become good in every facet of your life. Don't become too perfectionistic, but also enjoy the journey here to become a more general minded person. That's actually what I say with this small video story. Page 167. It all starts with inspiration. So first inspiration, you found a good article on Google, or you come on my website and say, hey, this Guido Fox is inspiring me. This guy is inspiring me. And then you get motivated. So first step is inspiration in your life. The second step is motivation. You get motivated by something. And the third important aspect is action, right? So your inspiration, motivation, action. That's the cycle in all your life. You get inspiration from a company, you get motivated to work for that company, and then you take action. You're not take blindly action. First inspiration, take your time. I get inspiration from this coach. I get motivated from this coach, and then you take action to call me, to text me on WhatsApp, and then we arrange a session together, right? You can find the details on my website, by the way. And so this is going on and going on in your life. If you don't have inspiration anymore, then you have no motivation and you don't take action anymore. You're sitting in your desk in your office and watching outside, telling the cars who pass by you're going to go to the coffee corner all the time because you're bored. You're not inspired anymore. You have no motivation anymore. And if you no motivation anymore, you don't take action anymore in your life. So remember this cycle. If you don't take action in your life, you get bored out. So you have to find a new inspirational path in your life. Inspiration, you get motivation. And from motivation, you get action again. Page 178. Reject to shape your identity. Don't become a please person who wants to please everyone in your life. Every uncle, every sister, every friend, to do everything for this person. Reject is shaping your identity. Choose wisely with who you goes. Be selective with who you goes. Pinpoint your energy on important persons in your life. So learn to reject. That's also what I learned in the dating industry and the dating skills. Learn to polite reject. If you don't want to continue the date with this woman, if you don't want to see her again, text her nicely and say it's over, but always clear communication and set boundaries. That is shaping, learn to reject is shaping your identity. I was always a people pleaser. I was always taking care of everyone and everybody in my life and stay listening and listening and listening to all those stories. I stopped with that. If you're not rejecting your life, you create a non-identity, and Mark Manson is so right there. You create a non-identity. No identity, an empty personality, no character, no strong personality, no boundaries, no self-value, no confidence, and ultimately you become an unhappy person. You become a happy person only if you have fully confidence. You have fully confidence about yourself, what your strengths and weaknesses are, and that's shaping your identity. And then you learn to reject. If you reject, then you're creating an identity and personality. Very interesting observation from Mark Manson from this wonderful book, Not Giving a Fuck, 200 pages. Thank you for watching, and I see you by the next video. Bye bye.